Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Del Mar Racetrack here on Saturday. It is the 30th of July, 2022. Gonna look at the stakes races on the program from Del Mar, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and I mean it around the world. Let's look at the stakes action from Del Mar, races 8 and 10, and their doozies. The 8th race, it is the Bing Crosby Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse $400,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 1,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Del Mar main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs, Del Mar main track. And before I go any further, if Southern California could cards like they have been the last 2 weeks since Del Mar opened, I would look at Southern California every single week. But I haven't been looking at it for YouTube for the last week. I've been a little bit busy with work. But if they could card these cards at Santa Anita in the fall and in this winter, that would be great. But the horse population and the hopefully it keeps going for the for the rest of the meet, because if they do, this is gonna be an exciting one. But my top selection here, I love the number 7 horse. Let's Get Lucky. Let's use 7-2-3-4 in the superfecta. 7-2-3-4 super. Top selection 7 horse. Let's Get Lucky. 4-year-old Gelding by Munnings. Brian Corner trains this one. Tyler Bays is in the saddle. The horse's most recent outing came 16th of April at Oaklawn on the slop. 6 furlongs in the Count Fleet Sprint Handicap, and he finished second by 3/4 length behind Jackie's Warrior, who's actually running today at Saratoga, and the Vanderbilt actually went on to win the Churchill Downs and True North after that, so he's next out to winner. But this horse, Let's Get Lucky, stalked all the way down the race course, was really closing up well late. Not a bad run after all said and done. Come back west. Has some good workouts under his belt. I'm going to give him a shot here today. 2 back in a Staybird Optional 20 at Santa Anita, 6 furlongs on the lawn, 7th of March. He won by a neck that day, and he sat back early after a horrible beginning. Slowly moved his way up from a wide rally, and he got the job done. A very good run after all said and done. And then prior to that, in the dirt in the California Cup Sprint at Santa Anita, 3/4 mile on the 15th of January, he finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths. He just stalked from a wide trip that day and just really couldn't get there. The winner, keep in mind, Brickyard Ride, one next start out. And then late November here, Del Mar, 6.5 and optional 40. He finished 3rd by 1.25 lengths. Again, he didn't have the best beginnings. He closed up a little bit late, but what can you do? He needs to get a good break. He didn't break 2 back, he didn't break 4 back, and he didn't break 5 back. 6 back, he hopped at the start. So that's a thing with him. If he breaks on top today, I don't think he could be stopped, because when he breaks, he really puts on these fast numbers. At 6-1, I'm going to use him. I also have to use this 2-horse Shaz. Bob Baffert trains one, gets Hernandez up in the saddle, most recently in the Steve Sexton Mile at Lone Star, 1 mile on the 30th of May. He finished 3rd by 1.75 lengths that day, and I just don't think he was staying the mile trip that day. He got beat by better horses. He just never really got to his comfortable running style. Cutting back to 6, has a lot of speed into him. I'm going to give him a shot. 2 back in optional 100, Santino, 1 mile in the 2nd of April. He won by 2 3/4 lengths, and he had everything on his own on the front end. He basically set pedestrian fractions and took off clear. A very easy race from there, even though I don't think the mile trip is to his liking. And then his most recent start around 1 turn, 7 furlongs optional 50. He finished 2nd by 3/4 length that day. And, he just kind of sat back early. He slowly moved his way up and got to the front end, but because the winner was drifting on him, and with a small margin victory, they placed him first because of the interference. He ran a good race that day. He's training well. At 7-2, I'll definitely use him in the late pick 4 that begins with this race. But to recount my selection for the 8th from Del Mar, it's the grade 1 Bing Crosby. Let's take the 7 horse. Let's Get Lucky. Give kudos to the 2 horse Shaz. 7-2-3-4 super. 7-2 in your multi race. Over to race number 10 from Del Mar, which is the featured San Diego Handicap Grade 2 event, going for a purse of $300,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground here of 1,700 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.16 on the Del Mar main track. 1,700 meters, 1.16 here in the San Diego Handicap. and local prep race for the Pacific Classic coming up this year on Labor Day weekend. That's Saturday. They've run it on Labor Day weekend. I believe in 2009. I think they experimented 2009, 2010, something like that. So I think it's a good a little bit later. Hopefully it doesn't affect some of the later stakes races in the fall from San Diego for the Brews Cup Classic division. But my top selection here in the San Diego, I'm gonna go. I love the 9-horse Royal Ship. I'm gonna go 9-3-8-2 in the superfecta. 9-3-8-2 super. Top selection 9-horse Royal Ship. 6-year-old gelding by midshipman here. Dick Mandela trains. Mike Smith gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came the Hollywood Gold Cup at Santa Anita, mile and a quarter on the 30th of May. And the horse finished third by 4.5 lengths that day, and he just stalked and really couldn't get there late. He was just a little bit flat. It wasn't his day to win. Cutting back to a mile 16th, which I think you should like. Staying a little closer. I'm going to give him a shot today. Two back red in the John Shearer mile at San Antonio, 1 mile on the 10th of April. He won by 5 lengths that day, and basically he stalked, he slowly moved his way up, and kept going under a hand ride off the bench. He was very fresh to win that day, an all-around great race, earning a 103 buyer, and then before that in the Pacific Classic here at Del Mar, a mile and a quarter on the 21st of August. He finished 7 by 11 3/4 lengths that day, and he was just lackadaisical throughout. He never really got into it, was very wide, and he just didn't show up there. And then last year, San Diego here at Del Mar, mile 16th to 17th of July. He finished third by a head. He was really closing up well late, but he just couldn't catch Express Train in Tripoli, who had the jump on him. He hasn't seen the winner's circle since the Californian Stakes at Santa Anita, a mile and 8th on the 17th of April, where he won by a neck that day. He stalked, he dug in late, and he got the job done. That was his only win stateside since coming here in coming here in August of 2020. He's always run these good races, but he just hasn't been finding the winner's circle. I think that will change today. Off the bench at 4-1, I'll use him. I think you also have to use the 3-horse Mandaloon. Florent Giroux gets on this one for Brad Cox. I think the good inside poster on the speed favoring track suits him well. Most recently in the Stephen Foster at Churchill, mile and 8th there. He finished 4th by 9 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked and really never got going. He was very flat. First back from Saudi, he needed the race. Before then, the Saudi Cup, again, he was with them, but then completely crumbled. It wasn't his day to win, but if he could show the race like the Louisiana Stakes, where he won quite easily, or even the Haskell last year, which he won in defeat, I think he could run a good race here today. Has some forwardly pace, 4-1. I'd definitely use in your late pick 4. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Del Mar to the San Diego Handicap, let's take the 9-horse Royal Ship. Give kudos to the 3-horse Mandaloon. 9-3-8-2 Super. 9-3 in your multi-race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.